So today we have this beautiful necklace that is made with the chevron netting technique and is using the same lentil crystals, beads, the crystals that have the hole on the side instead of being through the middle, central, and to make the design look nice, I have decided to also use some I would say that they are gunmetal or just with silver finish 4mm bicones and just the usual 11/0 seed beads without being delicate. As you can see here, the structure of the necklace is with V-loop that is going to hold the closed ring, then a sequence of absolutely plain netting, which will be at the back of the neck, and then I have started to add the beads, the lentil beads, at the top of the picot and the bicones in the middle, just here. I hope you like this design, so let's start beading. Before starting, I will show you the pattern for the chevron stitch, or for this chevron netting design. Because it's chevron, it means that is based on sequences of loops going up, loops going down, loops going up, loops going down. And for this design, I have started with 12 seed beads, but I will explain you what's the function of each seed bead so you can modify the numbers according to your own creation. So, the first seed bead from this 12 seed beads is what I call a connector bead. So through this bead, the loops will connect. The loop going up and down, up and down. Okay? So the first one is a connector. Then in this design we have 3 seed beads that I will usually call the leg of the chevron because they represent this structure that by repetition creates the size of the loop. Then the 5th bead is a connector. So the idea is that these 3 beads, you can have them 2, you can have them 4, you can have them 5. So this is the leg, is the area where you can improvise and change your design. So let's start again. Connector, the leg, in this case 3 beads, connector, again the leg, and here we have the picot. The picot, that, so the leg, the connector, and for picot we need 3 beads. In this case, the middle beads out of the 3 will be our lentil bead. We go back and close the picot in the connector. Then the leg 3 beads connector, the leg 3 beads, and we close this loop in the first connector bead. We continue, obviously, if we are up, we have to go down because we have a chevron stitch. So, for this, we create the crown of the loop down, which in this case is 3 seed beads. You can play with this number. Then connector bead. Then we need the leg to be consistent with the previous counting, so we have 3 seed beads. Connector, and this is the loop down. And after our thread went through the connector, we start with the loop up. For the loop up, we need the bottom crown, which in our case is made with seed bead 4 millimeter bicone seed bead. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then we have the connector, which is the 4th bead. Then the leg to keep the consistency of the pattern, and the loop closes up in the connector bead. And then we just repeat this sequence. As I was showing you at the beginning, the sequence can be done plain without any beads at all. When I'm thinking it's this bead and this bead, just with seed beads. And we still have a beautiful pattern. Now let's start our design, our project. We are going to use a stopper bead, the same seed bead that you use in our in the design. We don't need a separate one because this one will become part of the counting, and we leave some tail that will be used later for attaching the clasp. So we have one, as we were saying, we start with a count of 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1 and 2. And here we have our first loop before the adding the beads. So here we create the picot by skipping the last 3 and go back up. So this will be the plain sequence of our design. And here we have our first picot. Okay, it's like this. Now we have to finish our loop up, so we pick up 7 seed beads. And now we know exactly why this count of 7 and what does it mean and how it can be modified. So here we have 2, 4, 6, 7, exactly the number we need, and we close the loop in the first seed bead. So it will go, our thread and the needle, in the same direction with the tail. And here is our first loop. Now we have to start the down loop. And for the down loop we need 7 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay. We skip 1, 2, 3, which is the leg, and we go through the connector bead, which is always the 4th bead. Okay, this is the first loop down. Now in our design we go with a loop up. We are going to do the plain version of this without the bead. So we need 7 beads. 2, 4, 6, 7. From the connector bead, we skip the 3 beads of the leg and go back up the 4th, which is basically the middle of the loop of 7. Okay. And with this, we have the sequence that we keep repeating. We can decide to repeat plain without any bead. We can decide to replace this top bead. The only thing is that the bead you use needs to be small enough so it doesn't change the structure and the look of this picot. Here, the second bead that you are going to change if you want, it can be basically any size, because if this bead is bigger than the seed bead, it won't make anything else than to create a larger size at the base of the collar of our necklace, which is exactly what we want, to have that beautiful curve of the necklace around the neck. So now let's make this step with one of our lentil beads. So this means that we pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 beads to actually get down. So we skip 1, 2, 3 and go through the connector. Yeah. And now we create from this connector down the structure of the second leg with the picot. So we pick up the leg, which is 1, 2, 3, the connector, the first bead of the 3 beads of the picot, the second bead of the 3 beads of the picot, which will be this one, and the third one. Okay. Now we drop our beads, and the picot is made out of 1, 2, and 3. We skip them and go back up through the connector bead. We pull the thread gently to make sure that is no space in between beads. And now we finish the loop, and for that we pick up 7 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We skip 1, 2, 3 the leg and go back up the 4th. Okay. And now we need the loop down, which is always 7 beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Skip the leg 1, 2, 3, go down through the 4th. And here we are at the loop up, and we can replace this. You see here the loop up, the crown, the bottom crown has 3 beads, like the top one as well. So we replace the middle one. So we pick up 1, 2, and then we count up to 7 seed beads. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We drop the beads, and then 1, 2, 3, we skip the leg, go back up through the connector. we come with the top down 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 top down bead, and here we skip 1, 2, 3 and go down through the connector. If you need to visually check that you have correctly done your connection, you know that the top crown is of 3 beads, the bottom crown has to be 3 beads as well. So if you connected with 1 bead here at the bottom after the bicone, this is correct. I must say that if you make a mistake, it's easy to undo, very easy to undo. So there is no danger there. So this is what you repeat now for the length you need. Obviously, we can measure the length we need and, you know, finish our length when we need it. But here I want to show you that this is how I usually measure my necklace on the first channel of the beading board. We have 21 doubled 42 centimeters, which is right at the base of the neck, and I really like that length. Obviously, if you go with the other channels, you can make the necklace longer. This method of using your beading board for the necklace is really effective, especially when you are working only with a central point and you need to come up with separate straps for the length of the necklace. So I hope you think about using your beading board, obviously not only for stringing but also to make sure that your necklace is exactly how you want it to be. And now let me quickly show you how to attach your closed ring for your clasp. As much as I love the all handmade products, from my experience, the usual fancy clasp that people make or recommend to use made out of beads is not going to hold, especially if this is heavy. When worn, that fancy clasp will come off, and you don't want that. So I actually recommend to always go for your really pretty and precious handmade products, beaded products, with at least the lobster clasp, if not with a magnetic or something like this, because we really need these products to last more than one wear. So I'll show you how I attach my closed ring. So either using the tail that we left, or here, let's say that we are at the end of a length, I'll just quickly bead 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here we have, okay, good thread tension, we are here. I usually go with a right angle weave, basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick up the bead, the closed ring, go through the original one, go back at least once, and then I make this right angle weave unit into a double right angle weave. So this means that I add some beads, like here in between this one and this one, and another bead here between this one and this one. And my purpose is not so much that it looks nice, but to be stronger. Okay, and then we reinforce, going at least once. I would recommend twice around this double right angle weave unit. And after you have reinforced, it's very important that you do not cut the thread here, but you go down through the body of the netting, following the thread path that is already there, and make a few knots against the thread in the netting, so the original working thread, just like this, gentle, nothing violent, so we do not change the way the beads just sit. And maybe again here another small, or wee knot, the way people say in Scotland. Okay, then again move the thread away, and maybe now we can cut the thread, knowing that the work is well secured. Okay, and here we have our closed ring where we are going to attach then the clasp, and everything will be nice and lovely. I really love this design. It's so sparkly and so beautiful. Thank you for watching. See you next time with a new tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. You know the things you can do here on YouTube. Thank you. Ciao, ciao.